Hey everybody, and welcome to the Crypt of the Dead Gods in Sultan Sanctuary.
And there are the dead gods.
Yeah, well, I will say the name is apt for reasons that will be shown later in the video, but yeah, it's our good buddy the Scarecrow. So, with video 13, I put out a poll saying survival or dominion. Wonder what that was about.
It just now occurs to me, is his mouth wide open?
Yeah, it's just kind of gaping wide open because it's just a corpse he's strung up.
Ah.
So the poll I put out said survival or dominion. I chose survival because here, it doesn't fucking matter. He just kind of goes on and on about how I'm the coolest man ever. This island is mine and won't be yours, Botor man. That poll, however, will matter in next video. If I take a look at the poll results right now, we've gotten a staggering 110 votes. Almost 70, a good 62% of people want me to take over this island.
And then the world.
So, I don't like the Crypt of the Dead Gods. Well, I used to not like it, mainly because of this.
Wow.
But then something happened in this recording, and I just understood what to do here. And it also helps that these things are weak against bludgeoning damage, so I can two-shot them. But yeah, since I died there and didn't have a checkpoint, I had to walk all the way the fuck back. Luckily, there's a checkpoint right over here, so let's establish that. I christen thee in the name of drunk lepers. Let's go.
We have really high attack.
I mentioned before that this is about the time the game gets really cool again, and this was one of my favorite levels because you walk in here and you're like, what the fuck is going on here?
It's like all the water is going upwards.
Yeah, it's like a big telltale sign that there is something very wrong with this island. Nothing here is right. What is happening? But yeah, those are Gravekeepers, and when you have a bludgeoning weapon and damage boosters, they die in 2 hits. They can still fling you like a mile away, so you gotta be careful, but with the Bodor run, this area is surprisingly easy. Almost disappointingly so. Now we're going over here to unlock a shortcut I almost never use, but I think it's kind of a neat revelation of, oh, hey, we're this far down. Holy shit. Welcome back to Hager's Cavern. That was like, what, 4 videos ago?
Yeah, I sort of don't remember where that is.
It's a dark cave where we fought a very nasty pirate. Whoops. Can't go that way. Not yet, at least. But yeah, the big thing here is that water is going upside down, and there's a lot of things that are weird with gravity. They do this because this area is mostly blind jumps. I say mostly because the water falling upwards is actually a level design of a way to tell where you're supposed to go.
Oh, that's clever.
Yeah, I thought it was really neat and a good mood setter. Like, it's a great way to both give your players the concept of there is something bizarre here and none of this should be happening. But it's also a great way to have a vertical level design, yet give your characters key notes on where to go. And we'll see more of that later, but I thought the water going upwards was just a really good ambient touch. Now, you remember how I mentioned way earlier in the LP how the iron pot can only be upgraded by charred items?
Oh, yeah.
I think this is the only place to farm them.
Wow. And we're, what, 1 or 2 videos to the end?
1 video.
Jesus.
And you can only get the book through 1 means. So yeah, Iron Pot Run kinda sucks. I'm glad I chose the Bodor, because the Bodor is simple, like me.
And ridiculous.
Yeah, kinda. Like, there are way more overpowered weapons, like, if you remember Skourzh the Cruel, speedrunners go for him specifically because you could get his weapon early and then just kind of steamroll the game.
Now that looks kind of like something you should be able to press up on the controller and go in.
Yeah, kinda. I wish that was a thing that the developers did in this game, but, they decided to just go with a single continuous level and not have any loading screens. Which is good in my opinion.
Yeah.
I love how fluid everything is in this game. There's no downtime waiting for loading unless you die. However, that also leaves the fact that there's no real verisimilitude with the area. You don't feel like you're exploring an area. You kind of feel like you're in a paper diorama because there's no, like, you're on an X and Y axis. There's no Z axis or any combination of exploration through that.
They needed to make it 2.5D like Klonoa.
I never played Klonoa.
Neither have I, but I know about it. And that's all you need.
But yeah, I would like to see them do stuff like that, like, you know, have rooms that you could enter, have secret rooms that you could enter. But with what I got, I am still satisfied with Salt and Sanctuary. Like, this is the 4th time I'm playing this game and I still had fun. Like, I started recording it and I'm like, oh yeah, this game is still pretty good. Looks like a butt sometimes, but it's still pretty good. But yeah, this is a secret boss entrance that's kinda tricky to get to.
And here we have established Tai Wang is not an ass man.
I mean, the butt's gotta look good. Also, you know how I said that they use visual cues in this level to justify blind jumps? Here's the candles.
Crunch.
Yeah, there is that one jump that does fall damage to you, but I remember getting really mad at this area because I didn't know where the fuck to jump. And one of my friends was just like, dude, look at the candles in the background. And I'm like, oh shit, you're right. Damn it. Now, Shimmering Pearl. This is the only level that you could get Shimmering Pearls in consistently. Unless you kill the first boss of the game, that being the Kraekan horror that we fought on the boat. Now here is a good boss in terms of story, and I would say it's an alright boss fight in general. So, we have a king, a knight, and a mage. 3 distinct figures. You know what else has 3 in this game? There's a covenant that's strictly called the Three, where they worship 3 deities. A king, a knight, and a mage.
And we're killing them.
Well, they're already dead. They call this place the Crypt of the Dead Gods for a reason. And I think that's really good. One of the few nuggets of just, like, storytelling in this game that is not hinted at all, but really easy to realize when you're like, oh shit, that's actually kinda cool.
I figured it was like just a general crypt of gods, but not specifically theirs.
Mm-hmm. Now here's the problem. The king and the knight are weak against strike damage. The mage has 500 resist to strike damage, so we're gonna be doing this again for the 3rd time.
Yeah, it's 3rd boss in a row now where you had to jump and poke at them.
They were definitely trying to accent the aerial combat in this game, which lets it stand out from Dark Souls. Like, the verticality in this game is something I like a lot. However, in this LP, it doesn't really show that well. Like, if you run swords, you could get a really good 3-hit combo into, like, drop attack. And it's useful for fighting these bosses. If you use daggers, you get 5-hit combos, not including your high time and drop attack. What do you get with a Bodor? Poke. You either poke at them or belly flop at them, and I don't want to belly flop because that takes too long to recover from. And if I don't recover fast, I'll get hit with zodiac symbols. But yeah, I will say this boss is actually relatively tough if you don't have a fully upgraded weapon, because they are tanky in some regards. But so am I.
Nope, still giving money.
I'm rich, bitch! But yeah, for coming here, you get a Shimmering Pearl. For beating the bosses, you get 3 unique boss fights. For beating the boss, you get a Shimmering Pearl. I don't know if I mentioned it, though, but Shimmering Pearl is the final upgrade item for a lot of boss weapons. Like, that'll get you to your +7. But aside from those pearls, we have absolutely no reason for doing this. Actually, I say absolutely no reason, but the boss has the best hammer in the game. It's a tier 5 hammer that is two-handed, but the swing speed is so comically fast. Attack speed's lower because of that, but it's still a very fast two-handed weapon, yes please.
And even more leveling up.
More leveling up because I kind of want to get more dex. I was just like, oh wait, dex actually gives me more attack power at this point. I should probably level that. But yeah, at this point, that was not the boss of the level. We're actually going to go to the boss now. Unfortunately, my memory of this area is kind of vague because, I'm not going to lie, I always just bumble through this level. I just kind of like go around until I figure out, oh right, this area, that means I could go here to fight the boss. There is a mini shrine before the actual boss of this level that makes the run back a lot more bearable. I can never remember where it is, so yeah, sorry viewers. Luckily this is the only run there, so don't gotta worry about that. Like, we're gonna see a knight we're gonna see one of the big lumbering knights, not this one. But we're gonna see one of them further on, and just above him is the mini shrine, but I can never remember how to access it. But yeah, this is a point of no return. I gotta either bail out or do some goofy platforming that I don't feel like doing. Also, there are a lot of tricky jumps in this game, case in point.
Well,
sometimes your air dash just won't air dash, and then you'll just drop like a sack of crap. I don't know what it is, I think it's just poor timing on my part, but yeah, that's one of the 2 areas that really pisses me off about this area. The other one being the jump to the 3 kings, or whatever they're called. But yeah, from here, if you just keep going right and not drop down, you'll eventually find the actual boss of this game. I believe the knight should be right about here, and right above here is where the shrine would be. Like, if you find that shrine, it's just to drop down behind him, and then you just run to the boss. So, about bosses with strike resist. Say hello to Not-Seath the Scaleless. He has 700 strike resist.
wow.
Luckily, since I'm part of the Splendor group, and I have a +7 Bodor, and I have a metric fuck ton of just, you know, fire to put on my Bodor, I can actually do reasonable amounts of damage to him. Also, since I have a set of +7 armor, a lot of his attacks that are normally devastating don't really do much to me, so I have room to just, you know, be fucking clumsy. That being said, I actually like this boss a lot. He's got a lot of unique attack patterns. He has 7 attacks that you have to memorize. And he has a pretty good mix-up game. So you gotta be careful in what you do here in order to avoid him. One thing to note here, you know that trident thing he was doing where he caused the walls in the area? If after the second volley you hug, but not touch the second volley, you won't be hit by the third one. At all. Unless you're like me and just like walk in front of it.
He does look like he's got the Gaping Dragon chest going there.
Yeah, kinda, actually. But yeah, he's got a lot of good moves. That ball there is specifically meant to launch you and put you right in front of him for his Lightning Breath. Lightning Breath is a little tricky. If you want to avoid it, you gotta run a little bit back and wait for it to end so you can dash over it. The one thing that bugs me though is that because this boss is so huge, if you want to properly dodge him, you have to roll twice. That being said, if you're a refrigerator, you don't need to dodge. Oops. Like, even with the huge resistance to my damage, I still like this boss a lot, and it's still manageable. Like, it's probably one of my favorite bosses just because of how much variety he has. Like that down stab right there, if you're rolling out of the first one, he'll do a rear back and then do a follow-up while you're rolling. Which is why when you're fighting him, you often have to roll twice. Though I will say, given his 700 strike resist, this fight does go on a little bit longer than I'd enjoy. It's not Bloodless Prince bad, but it's still kinda eh.
I don't need to whip out the guitar for this one.
Yeah.
What would be a really good weapon against this guy?
I believe slashing is good for this guy. Either that or piercing. I could look it up, but we're done.
He almost looks like he had a cute face.
Almost. It was brine encrusted and shit, so nah. Skourz's horn makes the best magic casting weapon in the game. Actually, no. The best wand, the best staff is from the Witch of the Lake.
Ooh, Asbestos Bridge.
Yeah, now we're gonna get a huge context dump.
Once I was Jesus.
Another time I was Moses. Hi, Jarrett. It's such a weird name to say after you've been seeing this guy the entire game. But yeah, now we're actually gonna know the main driving force of our antagonist. Like, the whole time we've had a scarecrow mocking us, and we've been wondering why we've been getting waylaid upon by all of these Kraekans. We're gonna learn it right here.
Did he come into contact with the Old Ones?
No. Luckily, no. Just a god decided, yo, you seem bored with life, want to come to my sick island? And then, yeah, that's how Jarrett got here. He just got so bored with life that a god said, yeah, you can come here and just, you know, kill forever. But yeah, the entire reason everything that's happening right now is happening is because this nameless god is greedy because he was not born of light. So he collects absolutely everything to fill that void that he can never fill. Also title drop right here. That's kind of a little much, but yeah. The entire point is that we are fighting a greedy god. Because he is not born of the light, he goes and gathers everything. He gathers nations, he gathers ideals, he gathers philosophies, he gathers locations, religions, lust, gluttony, absolutely everything to fill something he does not have.
I suggest we name this god. Let's name him Brittany.
Welcome to the Still Palace.
Brittany.
Yes, we're gonna fight the nameless god, Brittany. So, I like the Still Palace a lot because it's that point you realize we're in an upside-down world, aren't we?
A topsy-turvy world.
Jarrett mentioned we are eternally dead. He's not wrong. This is kind of the afterlife, sort of. During that boat ride over here, we died somehow. Well, I know how we died. Fucking Cthulhu stomped us to death.
So I imagine the Kraken had nothing to do with it. Like, he has no relation to this. He just showed up and killed us.
Yep, and that's how we ended up here. This god just collected us because he found us fascinating. Now, that's the checkpoint for our run back to the boss. However, I'm leaving a message for you all here. Try up. Because going down is not the only thing about the Still Palace.
Try up. Increase your trying.
Also, since we're not gonna see one of the endings because I would have to replay the entire game again, I'm gonna give the people that voted escape their just dues, and I'm also gonna explain something to Thorn because of an allegory I made 3 videos ago.
And I probably don't remember.
You know how I said that this game started with a boat ride in the middle of the ocean, waylaid by a storm? You found yourself shipwrecked on an island and go around the island figuring out what's wrong and helping people, until eventually you fight a deity from beyond your comprehension in order to save your soul. You know how I mentioned that this game is kind of like Link's Awakening?
Vaguely.
Yeah, for the people that escape this island, when you do, you are effectively getting your life back, and when you escape from the island, you find yourself in the middle of the ocean on a bunch of like, what's the term I'm looking for? What's that term for wood? Driftwood. You find yourself in the middle of the ocean on a bunch of driftwood, but you're still alive. Much like Link in Link's Awakening when he uses the Ballad of the Windfish. We're not gonna see that ending.
We're making this shit ours.
Basically, yeah. That's why I kind of said this game reminded me a lot about Link's Awakening. And I think it's kind of cute because I didn't realize it until doing this LP. And it's a very vague and loose allegory, but it's still something very noticeable. By the way, we're not done with plot. We still got one more story to tie up. Remember this guy?
Is my answer.
He is the guy that gave us the dart brand, the double jump. We only see him at 2 points. We see him at the Ziggurat of Dust. We see him at the bottom of Hager's ruined temple, and now we see him here. He is a man much like ourselves, who is just trying to figure out what is this island, to the point where he is going into psychosis. Also, the bottle system. Also, this whole time when the Scarecrow was telling us, "Yo, give up so you could be mine," this is kind of like a foil for us in a way. They're showing us what happens if we give up. Just gonna lose your fucking mind. Like this guy who just gave up. For completing that storyline, you get the Charred Tome and achievement, and you say goodbye to an archaeologist. Now, since the last video is going to be really short, I want to show off one more thing. I have a lot of sanctuaries that I need to make mine. But I only have 2 sparkling orbs. But there is a pseudo-invasion system, but not really. I think we're going to do a fade cut and I'm going to show it off. Yep. Now, there's an item that you could buy from the dude at the Castle of Storms. It's called the Stained Page. You could use it to either put arcane damage on your weapon, but also you could use it to defile sanctuaries. This is actually a sanctuary quest. If you want to go into an exclusive sanctuary in order to get a bunch of neat shit that for pillaging and raiding sanctuaries, you first have to fail a sanctuary purging and take the item that you would get from that, go all the way to the abyss, find a very specific NPC, and then you could go there. Also, I completely fucked up. Now, I say this because, at the time of this recording, I told myself I'm gonna get every sanctuary and make it for the resplendent ones. I forgot to unlock that by purging an area. So in all technicality, there is still one sanctuary out there, and it is for the men who desecrate sanctuaries. I forgot to get that one. But yeah, that's a neat mechanic that you could do if you want to just, you know, make a sanctuary yours, but don't have a sparkling orb. By next video, I will have conquered every sanctuary we've been to and made it part of the resplendent ones. Next episode, though, we're beating the game. See you folks next time.
Brittany.
Yeah, we're coming for you, Brittany.